Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB, Zack Brown, and joining with me, as always, is former 410 Sprint Car crew chief and mechanic, my dad, Jeff Brown. Dad, a lot to go over from NASCAR, IndyCar, NHRA, and a lot of sprint car action, previewing everything. And everybody stay tuned for the very end, because you won't want to miss it, is the 5 most needed items you'll have to have for your tailgate. And this is coming from 2 drunk-ass rednecks that go to these races, so we're pretty accurate on all the stuff you'll need. So excited about this
more
one.
of a checklist of things not to forget.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll dive into that at the end, but let's kick it off and talk about all the action that at Talladega this past weekend. Shout out to Caleb Costner for his great run at Talladega. Did not get caught up in a wreck. I know that was their goal. Otherwise, the ARCA race is the biggest snoozer of a race ever. That was terrible. They didn't even go too wide ever.
Changes.
It was crazy. But let's dive right to the Cup Series and talk about that. And it was very similar to what we saw at Daytona. Fuel conservation was a big talk with the stages, how they broke it down. Yeah, they were 2x2, but they were going at one point, I think, 178, 80 miles an hour.
I was just going to say, yeah.
And they weren't really able to dice it up like they normally would. If you got caught in the back, it was hard to make moves up to the front, and people just not work together. And then people just waited to the last lap to do anything. And yeah, the last lap got exciting, but especially with Michael McDowell and everybody behind him, there were 2 late moves that were just not going to happen. And Keselowski had a shot to win it. McDowell blocked, and he was not cleared. And if he didn't come down on Keselowski would have won that race.
That was a bonehead move on McDowell. I mean, I think he knew it was over and just like, I'm just going to crash the whole field, because that's about what it looked like. I was like, there was no way we were going to make that block. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. Is it like he got
the only thing I could think of was that he was like, maybe Brad will just lift. I'm like, no, you're not gonna lift on the last. No, going for the win. You're never gonna lift with that. Unfortunate for a lot of drivers that got caught up in that wreck, and Tyler Reddick prevails. He was on the outside, and little bit of luck, and that goes into Talladega. You have to have a little bit of luck that goes with it. He was in the right place, right time. He gets the win, big time win for Michael Jordan. The first time Michael Jordan's actually been in victory lane in NASCAR. He actually hasn't gotten to see any of the wins yet, so that was pretty cool to see. They were all pretty pumped up about that. It was a really cool paint scheme with the Jordan.
That was a very sharp
the Jordan sneaker paint scheme. That's the first Gen 7 win for Toyota on a super speedway, so that was definitely interesting. Crashes throughout the day. The weirdest crash was when the Toyotas were trying their strategy to catch up back to the field, and there's like 6 or 7 of them in a line, and all of a sudden they just said, let's crash.
It just took, I guess, Eric Jones just kind of got light there, and I don't know.
Bubba got in the back of him. It was just a chain reaction thing that happened, and and shout out to Eric Jones. He's fine, but he's not going to be able to race this weekend. And I think it's Corey Haim's racing for the Jimmy Johnson owned 43 car. That sounds weird. This weekend at Dover. I thought actually Jimmy was going to hop in it because of his success at Dover, but he's not running in it. So, Corey Haim gets the opportunity this weekend, and hopefully Eric Jones has a speedy recovery, because he's really the only one that's doing anything at that place.
Noah Gragson has not been actually too bad. He had a good third place.
Noah's not part of Jimmy's team. Noah's
you're right. That's Stewart. Never mind. Point withdrawn.
But it's because John Hunter is.
John Hunter, that's right. Okay.
And it's not my place to really talk too much shit about a driver, but God, go back to the Xfinity and try again, or a truck series. Every single weekend you're getting caught up in some sort of wreck. You're not competitive. Like, come on, that's getting a little ridiculous at this point.
But anyway, the NASCAR needs to do the speedway races. That's just stupid. They're running around 3/4. 170. They need to do something. They either need to eliminate stages to where you're not just going to ride around, wait for a caution, they need to have tires to fall off, or they need to do something. They're just, the cars are just
I think
they don't do anything.
And I've heard some clips from Junior, and he's like, you could add a stage and kind of, it would help some stuff. You could shorten the race, which for Talladega, I don't want to shorten the race. I love the 500 miles at Talladega, and they don't really take that long. I'm all for just eliminating the stages. Why not try it? You tried it with the road courses. You saw that failed, so you're going back to the stages. But I think if you don't have the cautions at Talladega, you're not going to have these ridiculous fuel-saving strategies, because now you don't know what's going to happen.
More green flag pit stops.
And once again, to help these guys get up in the field and drive up through the pack, higher horsepower. Like it's not rocket science.
They won't do that because they don't want them going. They want them, like up in the 190 range. So you either got to give them more horsepower. You got to make them punch a bigger hole in the air or something to slow them, more drag or something.
Well, there's got to be something that makes them to be able to drive up through the field like you would see. I mean, shoot, you saw when back 15, 20 years ago, all of the DEI cars, they would race on their own. They'd get a run on the outside, go one or just maybe two at a time, and they'll just pass everybody on the freaking outside because they had so much more power than everybody. I mean, that makes it exciting. Please don't go back to the damn where they're clinged onto each other, whatever that was called. I forget what that was, but don't ever do that again. That was absolutely
one
dreadful.
time they had that strip across the roof to try to put a bigger hole in the air, which probably did work. These cars are just so good aerodynamically. They're just you can't do anything. They're all just they're too equal. I know NASCAR wants parity, but son of a bitch, we need to get some good cars and bad cars. And
if you're the outside looking in, you see, and you don't know a whole lot about it, you see that that's 2x2 racing, 3x3, but they're not doing anything. They're just riding. Like that's not it. It's better than what the ARCA was doing, where they were just clinging to the yellow line the entire time with 10 cars in a line, but it's still really no different, and they're not really pushing. Well, most people weren't pushing too hard. Brad was hitting the hell out of damn McDowell. And I think Brad was trying to figure out how he can get the runs and figure out when would be the best time to make the move. And I think he timed it actually perfectly, and it was just, again, ended up being McDowell's fault right there.
But yeah, with 15, 20 to go, nobody tried passing anybody else.
No, I mean,
makes no sense.
And I'm a firm believer, between 20 and 30 to go, you got to start trying to make moves. And if worst case that happens, you start falling to the back. You got time to recover and go back to the front. It's just, I don't know. This is my 2 cents. I've seen a lot of Talladega races.
It's boring. I used to really love Talladega. Now it's a snooze fest.
Yeah, and it's really, with this next gen car, they still got to really get that figured out. Now, if we were there in person, we'd probably be like, that was the greatest race we've ever seen, because it's a lot different in person. But when you see it on TV and you see all the stuff that's happening, I mean, it's like, you got to figure out something. But let's talk about the Xfinity race with Tyler Reddick getting that win on the Cup Series. But first career win for Jesse Love in the Xfinity Series. And this, again, I think we called it this weekend. The Xfinity race was a better race than the Cup race.
It's generally been.
I mean, it also helps that, there's crashes, and some of the guys suck.
That makes the restarts make the racing better. Crashes keep it interesting. Pit stops, and different strategies. Everybody's on the same strategy in the Cup race, so it was boring.
Yeah, but this is not really I didn't expect Jesse Love to get his first career at a super speedway like this. I thought it was going to be a mile and a half.
He almost won Atlanta.
Yeah, well, and that's mile and a half. That's what I was referring to. But yeah, I thought he was going to win on one of. I knew he was going to get a win this year. He's a really good driver. He's very impressive.
See how he won like every ARCA race.
Shoot, I think he's better than not half, but probably about 10 Cup guys at this point. And
I'd say so.
Give him a chance. I think he's like 20 years old or something. He's not very old. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for Talladega. There's some improvements they need to make. It's still cool to see, I'm sure, in person. Again, that was really awesome. But congrats to Tyler Reddick, Jesse Love prevailing at Talladega. Like, again, a little bit of luck goes into these races. What we're going to do now, we're going to stick with the NASCAR segment. We're just going to break it down by each different series that we're doing. We'll do NASCAR, then we'll go into NHRA, IndyCar, and then wrap up. So we'll do some previewing here now in the NASCAR series. Heading into Dover, Delaware. So before we do that, as we always start off this stuff, let's get our power rankings going into Dover. So mine has shaken up a little bit.
So
Some
is
people,
mine.
well, one or two people falling out. So let me get into my top 5 power rankings. So coming in at number 5 after a strong performance at Talladega, and he's really only had one not great race recently. They've been top 5s, top 10s, and very, very consistent. I'm moving him up into the top 5. Alex Bowman's my number 5. My number 4 is his teammate, and he had a very strong showing at Talladega as well. I think he got caught up in a wreck, but he's been just as consistent. He's already got a win. I think he's going to get a few more this year. Chase Elliott, number 4. Number 3, he got caught up in Talladega wreck, but I'm not. If you get caught up in Talladega wreck, that happens. You're not going to fall too far in power rankings unless you were just showing that you just were terrible. But I've got Denny Hamlin at number 3. Number 2, the winner from Talladega, he goes from 5, jumps up to 2. A win will do that for you. Tyler Reddick's my number 2. And number 1, staying in number 1 this week, William Byron. Don't have to go any further. He finished 7th at Talladega, kind of coming out of nowhere at the end and avoiding the crash and able to come away with a 7th place finish. And he's still the number 1 contender for the championship. Go ahead with your list.
All right. So, yeah, mine shook up a little bit. So, following 3 spots to number 5, I have Denny Hamlin. He was no real reason other than these guys have just been doing a little better than he has here lately. So, got him. Back in my top 5 was Martin Truex Jr. Car was fast, never won on a super speedway, but he was a contender all day. Also moving in at number 3, winner at Talladega, I got Tyler Reddick. See if he can stay there. Consistency's been a little bit of his downfall. And actually up 3, even though he was in a crash this week, I have your point leader, Kyle Larson, which I didn't realize he was the point leader till this week.
Oh, wow.
So kudos for Kyle Larson. He's the point leader. And then staying at number 1, Mr. Consistent, I got William Byron.
That's the Mr. Consistent to start off the year was Ryan Blaney, and now it's up to Byron.
Yeah, Blaney. Yeah, I mean Blaney was running good at Talladega as well. It's just
Talladega's a crapshoot. I mean, you really. I mean, we'll see what Dover is going to bring. It's a completely different track than Talladega, a little bit smaller. And so our question for this week for you: how many NASCAR tracks are concrete? Dover's one of them, so yeah, there's that. That's why this is the question.
Yeah. Bristol's one.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Nashville?
It is. Yep, 3 tracks.
Yep.
3 tracks are concrete still in NASCAR circuit.
I like concrete tracks. It seems like I don't know, these cars seem to race a little bit better on them for whatever reason.
And it lasts longer. I guess if it starts, the track starts coming apart, it's a little bit more of more of an upkeep, a little more expensive, I would assume.
Yeah.
A little harder to replace concrete because you can patch up asphalt if you need to as it goes by, but concrete you have to do the whole damn thing.
Yeah, I mean you can put patches in and they grind it down, but if you think about it, a lot of 4-lane highways are concrete or were. Now they're starting to convert them to asphalt just because it's so much cheaper to pave that way. But definitely holds up better. And the one thing I think it helps the racing, I think the concrete's a little bit harder on the tires.
Yep.
Than the asphalt, so it kind of racing's better when you get some tire fall off.
Well, go right into it. Talk about Dover, and I'm wondering if we're going to see something similar to what we saw at Bristol, or if NASCAR, Goodyear is going to bring a different tire, and hopefully it'll actually lay rubber on the track instead of just scattering around and shredding the tires.
Well, I want to say I'd hate to see them have a tire like they did at Bristol, but damn, it made the racing pretty good. That I had to do it. So maybe something not quite
in the middle.
As bad.
Yeah, something in the middle.
Yeah, Dover's super fast track, and they can really crash hard there. That's the one thing, just being so big. But the one thing that's unique about Dover, when they go into the corner, the corners like drop off like 4 feet. So when they go in, the cars actually real light. They hit the corner, then they land, and then they come out, and they have to actually go up out of the corner down each straightaway. So it's really kind of a unique thing. It's very tough on the drivers. It's holding your neck up. I mean, they got the things around their head anymore. It's not quite so bad, but it's definitely a strenuous thing, and just 400 laps going around that thing every 2 corners. You're compressing your whole body, dropping down in that thing. So it's definitely
and you're getting up to 160, 170, I think,
fast
on the straightaways. I mean, it's a fast track.
The straightaways are banked.
Yeah.
They're banked 9 degrees. So if you crash, you're probably going to go to the inside. So Dover's one of those tracks. You see a crash, you probably want to head to the outside. It's probably going to all head to the bottom before it's all said and done.
Yeah, well, Jimmy Johnson had a lot of success there. Hendrick Motorsports has a lot of success there. 3 years ago, they had the 1, 2, 3, 4 finish with Alex Bowman beating Kyle Larson a couple years ago. So Hendrick has their luck at Dover, but so does Martin Truex Jr., the hometown guy. Definitely a special place for him. I believe that's where he got his first win, too. And
I think so.
And I think last year, Dover had a rain delay and they raced on Monday, and I think Truex won on that Monday, if I'm not mistaken.
He kind of calls it his home track, I think. So, it's not that.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we give our race picks, Xfinity and Cup are racing there this weekend. Let's give our NASCAR fantasy. And you won last week, so congrats.
You're still in last.
You're still in last, and I'm actually stretching.
I wasn't winning until that last lap crash, and then
I was winning by like a lot, and then like 5 laps later, my entire fantasy was destroyed. So that's the beauty of Talladega. This week, it's we'll see what we got, what we're working with, but we're gonna post on the screen our fantasy lineups for you guys, and we'll also, if you're listening to this on some sort of podcasting platform, make sure you check out our social channels. It'll be on there. We'll post that here shortly. So be on the lookout for that. And if you want to avoid Dad's. He did win last week. I will give him that. So, sorry, I got to talk crap a little bit. The thing about fantasy, though, you got to try to figure out how many times you want to use a guy here and there. And it's like, you're starting to get down into... I haven't used anybody 5 times yet.
At the end of the year, and we're putting, Ty Dillon in, and you may or may not even be running.
Yeah. So, all right, I'm going to give my starters for this week. Again, it's going to be on the screen for you guys. So, my starters this week, I've got Chase Elliott. I've got William Byron, Alex Bowman. I don't have Larson. Daniel Suarez, Ty Gibbs, and in my garage is Martin Truex Jr. And I was not going to do all 4 Hendrick. I'm just not trying to jinx it too much. The feature matchups this week, you've got Tyler Reddick versus Kyle Busch. Well, Kyle Busch just has not been fast. That car has just not been good. And if it has any slight bit of speed, it ends up having some sort of issue. So I've got Tyler Reddick in this one. He's the one that just won Talladega. He's got the momentum right now. Alex Bowman over and Ross Chastain. I've got Alex Bowman over Ross Chastain in this one. Alex Bowman's got the consistent runs right now. He might not start all the way up in the front, but he will find his way. He's kind of getting a little Kevin Harvick-esque type races where he'll show up randomly at the end. It's like, where did you come from? Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott. This is a tough one because all the Hendricks I expect to be running in contention for this race. But I've got Chase Elliott, slight edge over Kyle Larson in this one. And Denny Hamlin versus Christopher Bell. This one's tough too, but I'm taking Christopher Bell over Denny Hamlin. I think this track suits his style. I think it could get hot and slick, and it's a fast track. I think if you can run somewhat towards the outside, which he can, I think it could be fast. Good bets this week. Kyle Larson, obviously. Martin Truex Jr., no-brainer. It says avoid Ryan Blaney, maybe. I don't really know if I said that. Avoid Bubba, maybe. But the sleeper is Alex Bowman on here this week. All right, go with yours.
All right. We're close, but we are a little bit different. So in my 5, we were just talking about, and I got Martin Truex Jr. Hard not to put him in for this race. Mr. Consistency, I got William Byron. Last week's winner, Tyler Reddick. Like you were saying, if there's any outside, he'll stick her up there. That's for sure. No question about that. I put in Ross Chastain. I don't know. I got a feeling to see him due for a good run.
And you got to use him.
Yep. And then I have Alex Bowman. Like I said, seems to suit Dover very well. And in my garage, I have Christopher Bell. So
all right.
I've been pretty much putting my garage driver in on somebody here during every week. So he's probably
except Talladega. I just let it ride because who knows.
So in my feature matchups, I have Tyler Reddick over Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman over Ross Chastain, which I have them both in my lineup. It was a little tough to pick that one. I do have Larson over Chase Elliott, and I have Denny Hamlin over Christopher Bell.
Yeah, so a little bit different. So that could we'll see.
We got to be different. I got to make up some points. I'm 100 behind.
Yeah, I don't think you're making up in this one. Not all the way. We'll see. And you want to talk about jinxing some, though? We'll talk about it later on. Jinxed the hell out of some high limit picks last week. I jinxed, like they flipped, went off the track, didn't even exist anymore. That's how much I jinxed them. All right. Heading into our picks for the race. Who's your race winner pick for the Xfinity race?
Okay, there's going to be a little bit of a theme here on my pick. So I got a Joe Gibbs car here, and this might be sort of off the wall. I have Ryan Truex.
Okay.
Xfinity pick in the 20 car.
Oh wow. Well, that 20 car is fast.
Very fast.
And hometown for him, so that would be big.
Yep.
And I think he did get a win. I think it was a Truex double header that weekend that they won a couple years
really?
ago. I think
last
year, the year before, yeah,
I
think they both won on one weekend. All right, so my Xfinity pick, and I've got a theme too, but it's not the same theme as yours. I have Justin Allgaier.
Okay. Well, that poor guy is due for one.
Yep, and he runs as good as anyone at Dover, so I think he'll be in contention. All right, Cup Series Sunday. Who you got?
So I got Ryan's older brother, Martin Truex Jr. on this one.
There you go. There's the Truex.
And Mom's pick, Martin Truex Jr.
Okay. Well, at least I'm different. I did not pick him. My theme is Chevys this weekend / Hendrick, essentially. I've got William Byron. I just see him just continuing his role right now, just knocking off more and more wins. Getting his 4th win this year, that would be enormous. So, yeah, I look at that. And if he gets that, that is
This episode is brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a live entertainment platform rethinking ticketing by caring more about their fans, teams, and venues. They are powering a new open entertainment industries where fans have effortless access to experiences in teams, venues, and shows, and have seamless access to their audiences. With trusted consumer marketplace and innovative enterprise ticketing technology, SeatGeek has what you need for any sporting event. Make sure you use my promo code ZBMedia to get $20 off your purchase from SeatGeek. That is ZBMEDIA from SeatGeek, $20 off. You can't beat that. Check them out now. Get your next concert, sporting event, or anything else from SeatGeek. Back to the show.
All right, heading into our NHRA segment. We wanted to give our recap on Las Vegas since we didn't do it last week, because when we were recording it last week, it was going on as we were talking. So, Top Fuel, Doug Coletta gets a win in the 4 wide. Big note, though, that Tony Stewart made the finals.
Yep.
Bob Tasca won Funny Car.
On a triple hole shot.
Yeah, that's never happened. It's never happened.
He was the slowest of the 4, but got off the line for the fastest.
Yep,
so.
it's all about reaction time. And Jed Coughlin wins Pro Stock. I think that was a little bit of a shock, especially to me. I was a little bit shocked on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I've picked him earlier in the year, and he really kind of let me down. So,
well, going from the Vegas 4 wide, heading into the Charlotte 4 wide, the original 4 wide Nationals, and we were at this last year with Rain, and no, we weren't at the 4 wide. We were at the 2 wide. We were at ZMAX, but awesome experience for a 4 wide. If you've never been to it, it's absolutely incredible. The entire ground will shake wherever you are on the property. It's awesome. Completely different conditions than Las Vegas. It's going to be about mid-70s here for the race. Beautiful conditions. It's supposed to be sunny, a little bit like partially cloudy, but it's not going to be anything what Vegas had. So
humidity is definitely going to be up more than it was in Vegas for sure.
A little bit, and
the track would be cooler. So
and you can. I don't think you'll see the same guys necessarily because it's completely different conditions, and I think motorcycles are back in action this weekend too. So big time weekend in Charlotte for the 4 wide. So what are you looking at going to this weekend? There's seems like there's almost a different winner every single week, and it's
it seems like it, and that's great for drag racing. You just never know who's going to win, and good for Tony getting down the track and starting to get that thing figured out. Mm-hmm. And for the power those things make, like he was saying, he's 50 pounds heavier than his wife, at least Tony.
Yeah, she's not very big.
No. So, but I mean, just having that weight in a different spot, and just those things are just so on the edge of just blowing those tires off. Every little thing makes so much difference. So they're kind of getting that figured out. So I expect them to go more rounds this week. I think you're going to see. I don't think we're going to break any records as far as speeds, but I think times are going to be real good. I don't see weather being any kind of an issue with track prep, so probably going to have 4 real good lanes. That's the original one, so there's a lot more racing in the 2 lanes they don't use all the time.
Yeah, they generally have really good racing at the 4 wide here as compared to the other 4 wide. The weather shouldn't be an issue. I'm not going, so it ain't going to rain. So it should be very, very nice. I think you'll see some good racing. I'm going to take a wild guess that you won't see a triple hole shot winning the whole thing this time. I'm just going to take a guess on that.
You think if you were going to see that, it would have been like Pro Stock or Pro Stock, not
you don't
not
see that in funny
class.
Car. No, you don't see that in funny car. Not at all. No. All right. Well, let's give our picks for Charlotte. Let's start off motorcycle and work your way up. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to guess we probably got the same motorcycle guy. So I got Gage Herrera. Got to pick him until he gets beat.
Until we're proven otherwise, yeah.
Yeah. So in Pro Stock, this is tough. Pro Stock's been pretty much parity on that one, but I'm still going to go with Erica Enders. Hard to go against her. Funny car, this guy hasn't won in a while, but he's right there. I got Matt Hagan, Tony Stewart's car. And Top Fuel, I guess Doug Clota's teammate, Sean Langdon.
Okay. All right, it'll be interesting. You get 1 win, you get the top 2 on yours, you're already into the semifinals. So it's pretty.
Yeah, you
wild.
only have to go 2 rounds, and you're in the finals. So there's one less round for the 4 wides.
So I guess it's better for on the teams than not as much to work on if they win. So we're
one less rebuild.
Yep.
For sure.
All right, well, mine, motorcycle, Gage Herrera. Again, until we're proven otherwise, I'm just not going to go against it. That'd be stupid, too. Pro Stock, I've got Dallas Glenn on this one. He's been fast this year. He got a win earlier on. I expect him to be in contention. Funny car, I got Austin Prock. I think he'll get his next win here. I think it'll be good for him. And this is my dark horse this weekend. I'm going Tony Stewart for Top Fuel to get a win.
That would be huge in Charlotte.
That was gradually getting better, and he's getting down the track now. I would not be shocked, but it still would be a dark horse to win at ZMAX of the Carolina Nationals 4 wide.
Yeah, and you're picking Austin Prock. I'm thinking we don't see Robert Height back in a funny car. Austin Prock's doing a great job in that car. I would, unless Height comes back for a limited schedule, just to say, hey, I'm back, I did it.
Oh, you meant for this year? Okay.
Maybe even ever.
Well,
he's had some medical issues. You may see him come back just to prove he beat the medical issue, and then, he is the president of John Force Racing. It's not like he needs the race, needs the money.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you may see him come back just to say, hey, I don't know what the medical condition is. They didn't say, but hey, I beat this. I'm back, and then he can, leave on his own terms.
Yeah.
But Austin Brock's been doing a great job. He transitioned to funny car. He's doing better than that, and I think he did Top Fuel.
Which isn't shock. It's not shocking to me that he was able to transition.
I got the best crew chief going.
Yeah,
so.
it's not too much of a surprise. I think we both expected him to have pretty big numbers this year. So, and he's in contention for the freaking championship as we're talking about it. So, we'll see what happens. All right, our IndyCar segment now. Talking about the streets of Long Beach. This was exciting at the very end. I watched about the last 20-ish laps of it, and it slipped my mind because I had Talladega on. I was like, oh shoot, IndyCar is on. They're probably almost over, and they were. And it goes by pretty quick. It only took like 2.5 minutes or something to go around the course. It was not long, and there was a lot of strategy that happened at the end. I thought Newgarden was going to end up being able to get to Scott Dixon, but he screwed up on a corner. He had to lock up the brakes, and it screwed up actually Alex Palou and another guy. I can't remember who it was, but Herta, I think was his name. And so it kind of pushed them back, and Scott Dixon was able to get away. And it was close at the end. Still ended up being really close, but Scott Dixon prevailed. And I don't even know why I didn't even think about putting him for winning that, because he's arguably the best IndyCar racer.
Year with a win.
You said how many?
20th straight year with a win.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's
interesting fact. Newgarden and Mike McLaughlin, they were both disqualified.
Scott McLaughlin.
Scott.
I think it's Scott. It's McLaughlin. Yeah, yeah.
They were both disqualified apparently.
Oh wow.
I didn't read the whole thing, see what they were disqualified for, but
yeah, that's. I actually liked it. I liked the street course, and it was when it gets exciting like that, and that makes IndyCar racing good. It was not just a complete ass kicking like you saw at the other week for the $1 million. It was. I didn't really know who was going to end up winning, and then Scott Dixon. They just couldn't quite catch him. He had 2 seconds of push to pass left, and he somehow made it work. So, even if
other guys had a lot, and I don't know, they didn't use it for whatever reason. They still ended up with like 40-some seconds of push to pass. So,
yeah, I would use the hell out of it. Like, I mean, I don't really know how it all really works, but I would still use it. You wouldn't see it.
Gives them an extra boost, like something with the turbocharger or something like that, or RPMs or something.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool how they talk about that too. It was exciting. It really was. It wasn't like some of the Formula One races were like, oh, he's ahead by a day, and yeah, but no, it was good. I think IndyCar racing is having a good year so far. They're actually racing back-to-back weeks, and doesn't happen often, so let's preview it. Barber Motorsports Complex.
Yeah, Birmingham, Alabama. So it's a 2.3 mile, 17-turn track. They made a big deal. They're like, oh, we have 80 feet of elevation changes. Dude, that's flat. Sorry, that's, so it's going to be, it's a flat track, permanent racetrack. So I think you're going to see probably a worse race than you did on the streets. I think you're going to see cars spread out more, probably just because it's a faster track in general. I don't think you'll see somebody.
But it all comes down to strategy too, and how you manage it, which tires you put on when, and how you can manage your push to pass too, like we saw with this past race. So that's a big part of it. If you can get a big lead though, that will be huge.
Yeah. Some guys will start on the softer tires, and then other guys will start on the intermediate. I don't know if they have the 2 or 3 now. I think it's just 2. At one point they had red sidewalls, black sidewalls, green sidewalls.
I think it's just white. I think it's white and red, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I think it's just the soft and then the regular tire now. So it's like, who puts it on when? What do you start with? What do you end with?
And it's fun to follow these guys now, especially we'll be seeing them in person here in a month. So it's definitely making it for a lot more exciting going into Indy. You kind of know who these guys are now. It's not like we used to watch it before and we're like, I don't even know who any of these drivers are. Now it's like, well, yeah, we know at least the contenders. So you'll know probably usually the top 10. It's about the same. You have about.
But Indy is going to be a whole bunch of different cars that only run Indy, so that'll be.
You were talking about the parity with all of NHRA races. There's not as much parity in IndyCar. You have about 5 or 6 guys that are probably going to win. Other than that, That's about it for this, at least. Indianapolis 500. That's that's kind of like a Talladega version of IndyCar. It's a crapshoot. Anybody ends up winning Indy because you bring your best A game for that. So,
for the most part, it's Penske versus Ganassi.
Yeah, it really is. Well, and I will say the Mario Andretti, who had, I think Herta had the Mario Andretti car, and if I'm not mistaken, or Michael Andretti, is it Michael Andretti? Yeah, Andretti Motorsports, whatever that is. Yeah, he was actually running in contention there. So, well, Barber Motorsports Complex this Sunday. I think it's at noon, if I'm not mistaken.
1 p.m. Well, noon their time.
Yeah, see, I was right.
1 p.m. Eastern on NBC this time. See, which is one nice thing IndyCar does. A lot of times they're on network, compared to NASCAR is just not on, antenna TV. A lot of people are ditching cable and going to antenna only. So, if you can't view, I'm guessing NASCAR's probably on Fox Sports alone. So if you can't see that,
probably on
NBC, you'll get some racing on. And even drag racing's on Fox a lot. They have a stupid TV coverage where there's too much fluff going on, but
but they still got to work
on 1 p.m. on NBC. I think it's probably on Peacock, IndyCar channel, whatever.
Yeah, I will not be catching most of the stuff. I will be on a giant ship heading into the Caribbean. So sorry, guys. I will be at the sports bar there watching stuff. So I'll probably be the only one be like, hey, can you tune in the IndyCar race? Because there's NBA playoffs going on right now. But all right, what you got for your pick for Barber Motorsports?
Well, we talked about this guy, and this is kind of I'm going with my sort of dark horse picks this week on a lot of things. I got Colton Herta.
He was very, very good, very impressive.
He won there a couple years ago, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. But
that was a great analysis.
He's been quick, surprisingly quick. Usually he's kind of more of an oval guy, I think, but he's done very well.
That was a flawless analysis there. Good job. My pick, the guy that you just mentioned that got disqualified, but he was fast. I'm picking Joseph Newgarden for this one. Pelo's going to win this one.
Low-hanging fruit here on these every week.
I said Pelo's going to win. I said Pelo's going to end up winning this one now. Yeah, now we didn't pick him. He's looking good. Most of my picks sucked last week. All right. Got to give another shout out to another partner of ours, one we've had for quite some time, Dubby Energy. Make sure you check the link out down below, dubby.gg. Use my promo code ZBHP. Get 10% off any order. I'm sipping on some good stuff right now. I've got the Pineberry Splash Hydro series right now. Some great stuff. I'm telling you. I've had them for a while, and I'm particular on the drinks I get. Energy drinks, hydration supplements. There's some good stuff. I've had them for over a year now, so check them out. W.GG, promo code ZBHP, 10% off your order. Back to the show. Our dirt racing segment, sprint car action. High Limit and Outlaws. Let's dive into High Limit, recapping all the action that they had there. Red Dirt Speedway, Corey Day. This is a lot of this theme right now is Corey Day. Let's talk about that kid right now.
The Corey Day section.
He is damn good. He very impressive. Working through lap traffic on these.
That was a masterful job.
Yeah, I think that was the Riverside one we're talking about. He won Riverside too. So spoiler if you guys didn't see that, but it was just all these races are impressive. He emulates a lot of what Kyle Larson brings to sprint car racing. He's an 18-year-old kid. Larson's already got him on the radar. I'm hoping he gets chances and opportunities kind of like how Larson did in NASCAR. This kid just knows how to drive. You can just see it.
Yeah.
He's just a very naturally gifted racer, and he's going to win this freaking High Limit championship. You watch. He's going to win that freaking championship at this point.
But the other one to talk about, and surprisingly this year, has been Tyler Courtney.
I don't know if it's surprising.
He's the point. I mean, going in, you think this is probably Brad Sweet's championship.
Or Rico. Rico's had bad luck. Probably because of me.
Yeah, do I dare say that High Limit right now has better drivers than the World Outlaws?
I wouldn't go that far yet.
I don't know. I think they got more of them.
Maybe. It's hard to really say. I'm excited for the Nationals this year. I'm excited to see what Corey Day does at the Knoxville Nationals this year.
Well, we'll get into Knoxville here in a bit, but Knoxville's kind of its own beast on how to drive that track.
I know, but if that kid can freaking win Knoxville, then that's beyond impressive. Southern Oklahoma and Salina High Banks, Brad Sweet prevailed. And I will say this about the Salina High Banks. They were awesome. That was a cool track. I like that track. You don't always see great racing like that, but the way they're able to run on that top groove, kind of dive down into the bottom, get that long run, that was really good.
I did have Brad Sweet pick for the Salina High Banks. Though.
Was it? Did I have it? I had no picks right. I had 0 picks right.
I had one.
I think it was Salina High Banks, if I'm not mistaken. Was that the one where? No, never mind. Different series. I'm thinking of Outlaws where.
Yeah, but Brad Sweet punted somebody. I don't remember who he was racing with, and
I think that's Southern Oklahoma. He dove it in, and it looks like it either got tight or something. It just shot up. He just lost it, and it just smacked the other guy. It wasn't like he was intentionally trying to wreck the guy. Brad Sweet's one of the cleanest racers you'll see, so I don't think he meant anything of that. He just drove it in and just did not stick the way he thought it was going to. So I didn't see anybody really complaining too much, so I guess everything was fine. I guess he probably explained it to him. But great racing. High Limit is in full force. So the one race we're going to preview for High Limit, again, we're not going to have a show next week, guys, and I'll explain to in a little bit more here in a second. But 81 Speedway is the race coming up, and Outlaws were just there a couple weeks ago. So now High Limit goes to town. The Outlaw winner was Rico Abreu. So we'll see how many Outlaws are coming to this race to possibly get the $20,000 to win on the midweek money series.
22,000, I believe it said.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I don't know. I don't know if you're going to see any of the Outlaw guys come. They got that stupid rule where you can run like.
Oh no, they're not going to come. They race Jacksonville next the same day. Never mind. Okay. There is Jacksonville Speedway, which we're not going to preview. Sorry, but. Yeah, if you just want to recap real quick what 81 Speedway brings and what you're looking for on that one.
You know what? It's funny. I didn't write my notes down. I copied them from the Outlaws from 81 Speedway.
It's probably the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 3/8. So it's a slightly bigger track than some of the ones they've been running on. So it's 3/8 dirt oval. It's nothing iconic about it. It's not like the High Banks where it has 22 degrees of banking or anything like that. So and they're starting to run a lot of racing there, so I think the track's going to get pretty slick. So this could be one where you could see some of these the former All-Star guys having a good run on there. Tyler Courtney's been fast every week.
Yeah, and then Zeb Wise.
I got the big cat on this one just for experience on that one, just in the slick. So
I'm telling you. So you say you got Brad Sweet?
Yeah, I mean. The smart money's on Corey Day right now.
Well, I'm about to say, if Corey Day gets this freaking win,
I would not put it past him.
He's got to be in second place in the standings, right? I didn't even look at the standings.
I didn't actually look either. I can look while we're chatting here.
Yeah, look, you check on that. My pick for 81 Speedway is the guy that just won it a couple weeks ago against the Outlaws, and I've jinxed him a lot. I'm sorry, Rico, but I'm picking Rico Abreu again. He's got to come through on one of these.
Corey Day's third. Brad Sweet's second.
Okay, it's got to be tight.
Brad Sweet's 17 behind. Corey Day is 44 behind.
Yeah, you can make that up in a race.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if he wins the freaking money race.
The other car that was running good last night, Tanner Thorson.
Yeah.
Had a good run. He wasn't letting Corey Day get out of his sight, but
no.
But talk about the race last night. Corey Day just did an absolute
amazing
job through lap traffic.
That was absolutely amazing.
Because lap traffic was tight.
Yeah, it wasn't. You didn't have a lot of room to work with.
No, and he just smoked those guys through lap traffic. That was
and he did it smart too. He was
a guy
very
that young doing that without screwing up.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, he's a
the
good
real deal.
freaking driver. He's a good freaking driver. I'm excited to see what he can do. might find a second favorite now at this point in sprint car racing.
I catch myself kind of rooting. I have no idea who Corey Day is. Don't know him. But it's like, I'll root for this guy.
You kind of earn a little bit of respect for a kid that's 18 and he's racing that clean and it looks like a veteran out there.
Yeah.
So really, I think he's the next big thing in racing. I think he will get an opportunity if he keeps running like this, especially in the high limit series where Kyle Larson owns.
Yeah.
Larson, I'm sure he's already on Larson's radar. I'm sure Larson he has connections and he will probably make some phone calls to people. Shoot, don't put it past Junior to pluck him and put him into an Xfinity car.
Spire Motorsports on a truck, something.
Yeah, something like that. I'd say give him just a race or two just to see. Why not? But yeah, that wraps up high limit. And finishing off this week, World of Outlaws. Recapping the race at Paducah, Sheldon Haudenschild gets a win. So I believe second win of the year.
One time I don't pick him.
Yeah, well, you kept riding that horse, and then when you don't pick him, he finally he gets it. And great racing by Sheldon. He's having a really good year. And you're talking about like if they're better drivers in high limit, it's close. It's arguable. I'm not gonna make that statement yet until I see a little bit
it almost
more.
seems like there's more drivers in high limit that have a shot to win, and I don't know.
Well, when you say that, and then this guy's not. I don't think he's a full-time outlaw. But the next race at Tri-State, Brady Bacon, he makes it back-to-back years where he wins at Tri-State, so he's got that track figured out. I don't think he's a full-time outlaw anymore.
No, he normally runs without a wing. So you win a race if you're a non-wing guy and you win a wing sprint car race, that's impressive. Beating the Outlaws on a wing sprint car, that's even more impressive.
And 2 years in a row.
Yeah. So he's definitely he's got a feel that he likes there and it works, and good for him.
Yeah.
That was the one. Is that the one where Buddy Kofoid and gravel?
Paducah, I believe.
Is that Paducah?
I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Paducah. But Paducah was the wider track. Yeah, it was that one.
Okay.
I don't know if necessarily Kofoid did anything really wrong.
Was it aggressive? Yes.
Yeah, but
dirty.
I wouldn't say dirty. Because who was
shout out to the North Pole Nightmare, Bill Baylog.
Yeah, that's who was. He had to avoid hitting him.
He has been very impressitive this year.
It really has.
Because he's a full-time rookie, and I think he's probably going to be a shoo-in for Rookie of the Year in that series. Because
I don't know if it takes too much to get Rookie of the Year. I don't think there's too many.
But you know what? He's been qualifying well. He's been in the dash. He's
definitely got the coolest damn nickname. I love that nickname. I don't care. That's a cool damn nickname.
At one point, he was from North Pole, Alaska, so that's
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one. Some of them are freaking stupid.
Yeah. We don't need to go through all that. Oh, that might be a good top 5 one time. We'll think about that. All right, so preview in Knoxville. This is the race last year where it was the same time of the year. It freaking snowed. So
really?
I think the weather's because they pushed it back to June, where there probably wasn't a chance of snow. But I think the weather should be good in Knoxville this weekend. Obviously a little bit cooler, but I don't know if you can use this too much of a preview for the Nationals because it'll be a completely different track when you race 4 nights in a row, and it's also in August too. So, but you at least get confidence builder of anything going into Knoxville if you can do well this race.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, Knoxville's kind of its own beast on how you drive that track, the way you have to attack those corners compared to a similar shaped racetrack, like especially say like Knoxville and Port Royal are relatively shaped very similar, or even Selinsgrove, but Knoxville race is completely different. And even Lance was talking about how different that you have to run that, because he was really, really bad when he went to Knoxville, and then I guess after watching some guys and talking to some other ones, he kind of learned how to attack the corner and really picked up speed. So just getting the field down and and the mental set for running the track the way you need to do, it's definitely got to help some for the Nationals coming up. Yeah, the track conditions are probably most certainly going to be different, and stakes are definitely going to be different, pressure and everything else. But it's a good tune-up race. Great racetrack. Multiple grooves. I think you're going to see, for a big track, you're going to see good racing on this one.
I think it was both of our number ones, or I had number two. I can't remember, on top 5 tracks. So yeah, that's awesome track and historic. And it helps that they race there every week too. They got their weekly series, so it's not. So you'll see some of those local guys racing in this race too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They could definitely shake some things up for sure. 2 nights back to back at Knoxville for the first time this year for Knoxville. Who do you got night 1?
First night, I got Logan Schuchart. He seems to run very well at Knoxville.
I've got Carson Macedo for night 1.
Okay.
Races well at Knoxville too, especially if he doesn't get in a crash like he did last year, the really scary crash. But he ran really well at the Nationals, if I'm not mistaken. So I've got Macedo on that one. Night 2, who you got?
So night 2, I'm figuring going to be a little slicker. Nobody better than the slick at Knoxville than Donnie Schatz.
Yeah, that was my analysis too. That's why I got Donnie Schatz for night 2 as well. Wouldn't surprise me too if he sweeps them.
No, it's very possible. He's
seen Knoxville at every type of condition you can think of. So, and that's why he got a shot in the Truck Series race there, the Truck Series there was terrible. Let's just be honest, that was awful. They could go back to Eldora. That was better. But yeah. All right. No soapbox there. No more. No, done. That does it for all of our series this week. Our final segment, our top 5. Well, top 5. This is 5 in general, but the 5 tailgate must-haves for any tailgate in general, but specifically racing tailgates. So I'll go first. I'm not even really going to number them. I'm just going to list them off. But I got just general food. You got to have some sort of food there. And specifically for me, I'm going burgers, dogs. It's easy enough. Throw it right on the charcoal grill. You're done. Easy. You have it in your hand. You don't even really need plates because there's going to be some sort of hurricane type wind if you have plates, and they'll just blow everywhere. So definitely burgers, dogs, simple enough. Keep it simple. The reason for that is because you also got to have beer. You got to have a thing in each hand. You got to double fist stuff. That's how you do it. More likely, you're going to have some sort of cheap beer, whether it's Bud Light, Coors Light, Miller Lite, whatever. You're not going to just have a bunch of. For us, we'll have all the cheap beer, and we'll get like a little 6-pack of craft beer because we're bougie like that. But yeah, for the main part, it's easier to put down all those light beers and drink 20 of them and apparently still be under the limit. So, and another one, and I'm specifically saying this one, cornhole. I love cornhole. I didn't know a whole lot about it until we really moved into the South and went to these tailgates and stuff. And cornhole is actually pretty damn addicting. Easy enough for kids to play too, and the 5-year-old will get pissed off when he can't make a shot. But it's great, and even if you want to, you can use the cornhole boards, and the kid will throw little Matchbox cars on there and race them down there. That's what he did the last race. So
Pine Hill Derby race. Just
you got multiple uses out of it, and if you wanted to, you could prop them up, and you can have a freaking table on your tailgate. Bam. Another one, you got to have music. You got to have some sort of music, whether it's from a speaker or just from your phone. You got to have music. Can't just be bored there and just staring at each other in the quietness and just a bunch of rednecks in the background yelling yeehaw. You got to have some sort of music.
That's a good one. I don't have that one.
And the last one, I'm being responsible. Be responsible because you'll feel like shit if you don't have this. Got to have some water. Sorry, you got to have some water. I know. It's a tailgate. You want to just get all turned up and shit. You got to have some water so you don't feel like shit.
Especially if you're leaving the track. If you're camping.
And especially if you're going to, if you're going to be, the sun's beating down on you, you're going to be dehydrated. Yeah, you got to have some water. Sorry, being responsible there. I know. No, that's what it is. Now, you go with your list and we'll talk about our Talladega story real quick.
Okay. So the first one on my list is one thing that, like I said, this is sort of a check off that I'm sure it brings up. I put trash bags. Don't be the people that just throw all your shit on the ground. Put it in a trash bag. A lot of times they tell you just to leave the trash bags there and they'll pick them up later. If that's the case, just bundle your shit. It takes no time to take some trash bags along. Don't be hogs. So then, like you, I have cornhole or other tailgate games. Ladder ball's a fun one.
Yep.
May or may not have had Guitar Hero in one of our tailgates when.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about something in a second. We'll talk about our wildest tailgate stuff. Yeah.
So the next one I have is the pop-up tent shade, and important as that is the stakes for the tent shade, because like you said, it'll get windy. You got to stake that some bitch down.
Yep.
Otherwise, your tent is not going to be there when you come back from the bathroom. And number 2, beer. Got to have beer. Also, food, drinks.
Oh, you include all that? Okay.
Yeah, I put that all together. I'd sort of put, you're going to remember to take your food. You're going to remember to get your beer. It's also important to have something that's either easy to cook after the race is over, or something that's already made. You don't have to heat up, because you're going to be waiting a while. You're probably going to be hungry. It'd be nice to have something to eat while you're waiting traffic to clear. And number 1 is, I forgot this twice on tailgates. Charcoal lighter, a lighter, something.
Yeah.
Twice. Football game, forgot the charcoal, had to go find charcoal. Daytona, forgot the damn charcoal, had to stop at Publix. So.
All right, so we were kind of talking about it in a second for everybody watching. We've had some experiences on tailgates, so we'll go back in the memory bag real quick. The coolest thing, and nobody probably ever thought about this. We had a freaking TV, PlayStation, and at the time I was in middle school. I think it was middle school.
Probably.
Guitar Hero was the number 1 game going around, and if damn we didn't have that thing at the tailgate. And
how many people looked and were like, "This guy's got Guitar Hero."
Yeah, that was pretty freaking cool. We had that plugged into the truck. That was badass. Talladega. This is probably the best story. So we get done with the trucks and Xfinity race on Saturday. We get back to the hotel. We're hungry. We didn't really want any burgers or anything because we knew we were going to have that the next day. So we're like, all right, let's see what's around. So we look at DoorDash, and there's a pizza place, and it was like
Bob's Pizza and Wings or
something. No, it was it was like an Italian. It was like
it was like Pascali's or something.
It was like Giovanni's or Bada Boom Bada Bean that type of. It was like oh cool, it's a nice Italian place, and so we're like, all right, let's get a pizza, and they had on the menu, it said like meatball bombs, and it was supposed to be like basically basic deep fried meatballs, more or less, from what I understood.
Yeah, in like a pizza crust or something.
More or less. So we ordered that. Right, cool. And the guy gets to our room, and he hands me a box with a freaking rat on it. I said, a picture of a rat. I was like, what? And we take it and already pay for it, and then it says Chuck E. Cheese. I said, what the hell? So
we didn't know about the ghost kitchens at the time.
That's not even the best part, too. So we open it up, and we're like, oh, I mean, it's pizza. Like, shit, we're hungry. We're not picky. And the meatballs we open up, because we were pretty excited about that. I was like, this looks pretty freaking good. Open it up. It's just fucking reheated frozen meatballs. Like, what the hell? What? I'm like,
went to Walmart and microwave.
I'm like, what? When we ate them, let's not get us wrong. No, it's too much work to tell them, no. That's fine. Well, go to find out that Chuck E. Cheese outsources their pizza to that company, and they make it there, but they package it in Chuck E. Cheese shit. Well, you could have told me that before I ordered Chuck E. Cheese damn pizza. Now, the next day, we did have some leftover pizza. So we get to the track, we have burgers rolling, but we're hungry right now. So we're like, well, what? Fuck it, we got this pizza. We throw the damn pizza on the grill, and you tell me right now, anybody, if you have grilled up Chuck E. Cheese pizza at a damn NASCAR tailgate at Talladega. Ain't nobody ever done that.
We had Mom packed that real fancy goat cheese that we had for crackers or whatever, so we're like, screw it. We had Chuck E. Cheese pizza on the grill and burgers with goat cheese. I guarantee you nobody did that.
That was probably one of the most delicious things too. Actually, I will say the pizza on the charcoal grill was pretty damn good too.
That was very good.
Yeah. So
Had to heat it up somehow.
So if y'all want to drop in the comments what your wildest tailgate memory or tradition, whatever you do, that's pretty wild for us. I mean, that sorry for the language, but that just makes it a better story too, because it blew our mind, because we're just like, what the hell?
It took forever to get that pizza, so we're like mapping the guy on DoorDash or Uber Eats. I'm like, why the hell is he at Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah, we thought he was straight up just playing in the ball pit, or he's like some sort of pedophile or something. I'm like, this is weird. He hands me a damn, and the dude, like, it was like just giant, big, brawly dude. I'm like, and he hands me a damn Chuck E. Cheese pizza, gives me a look. I'm like,
yeah, the hotel room. There's two large guys at the hotel room getting a Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
Sorry, man, I didn't realize Chuck E. Cheese. But it was good. It was still good. And I'll give him props. That was better than some pizza I've had. So
that was fun.
Ain't a big deal. So, all right. I think that does it this week. So next week, guys, there won't be an episode. We'll try to release one maybe right before the Kansas race if we can. I'll be on vacation for this next week, so make sure you check out the Sammy Swindell interview. Be on the lookout for any bonus episodes that are coming. We got some guests.
Sammy was awesome.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. Obviously, we had the technical difficulties. Next time we'll try to get him on. We'll figure it out. Try to get him you can see the video, but his knowledge that he gave us was tremendous. Yep. I might try to get him back on before the Knoxville Nationals. We'll talk about that a little bit. But make sure you guys follow anywhere you get your podcast. Yeah, I can't talk today. Make sure you share it. Check out the YouTube channel, all social media platforms, and we'll see you next time we see you. I don't know when it'll be, maybe 2 weeks, but I'll see you guys then.
All right, bye.